Just fucking do it. Subscribe now.
The goal is they have the money from the private equity. They're not going to continue doing acquisitions. They're going to make one purchase to this company. They're going to manage it. If they don't do their job,
they're not going to do other companies.
They're not doing multiple acquisitions.
Okay.
It's a search fund, so they're not just finding the deal.
Is it their search fund?
No, okay. They're two grad kids.
No, but there's another case that they start a search fund, and all they do is they raise money to pay themselves while they look for businesses.
No.
Okay, that's another deal. Okay.
So investors back them. So they're just two grad kids, but they want to manage the company.
Now, if you go to Stanford, I'll interrupt.
Yeah.
Wrongfully, if you go to Stanford, because there's been so many successful kids out of Stanford with startups, you can raise on your own name $100 million like taking a pee. Wrongfully.
That makes sense.
Okay, because of so many guys that have... I have a mentee, his claim to fame is he wrote the first term sheet for Zuckerberg. When Zuckerberg was looking for money in the beginning, but he didn't accept his term sheet. But anyway, okay, go ahead.
Okay,
Stanford guys, okay.
So that's what it sounds like. So we don't know how they arrived to the purchase price, but it was 10.4, 5.2 million in equity, and 5.2 was covered with debt. Okay? So right off the bat, it doesn't sound like it's a motivated seller right off the bat because he doesn't want an earn out. He doesn't want to put up any seller's financing whatsoever.
But he wants to stay.
He wants to stay He wants to stay, and maybe his rationale for staying is, hey, these two grad kids might not know how to run this business. I put my hard work into this business. They might just run it to the ground, so I'm going to go and stay on for a little bit. That makes sense, okay? But he suckers them into saying, give me a lump sum payment right up front. So these guys are short $7.5 million. They end up raising $7.5 million, and they end up giving the guy 10.4 in a lump sum payment the day of the close. 5.2 of it's equity, 5.2 million is debt, 35% of it goes to...
Okay, well, what were they... Does it say what they were using as collateral against the debt? Is the business has assets?
No. It doesn't say. It doesn't say. We don't know how they arrived at the purchase. It doesn't say any of that. Yeah. So we're just going off what we're told.
And this case is from which
Stanford.
School?
This is Stanford.
Stanford. Okay.
Yeah, Stanford. So, right, the biggest takeaway from this is, as a QLA mentee, this is not a deal we pursue.
Correct.
At all, right? Oh, and there's no competition on the deal, too. They got it via cold call, right? But even then, to me, it sounded like the owner was taking these guys for a ride, right? Because, I mean, not only...
It's not the first kids out of Stanford that got been taken for a ride.
Right.
I mean, because the people in the tech business know the Stanford, not just Stanford, but other schools like it, can get money easily. And money that's obtained easily is easily separated from the kids.
And that's what we sell to.
Yeah. And right. The kids don't get, well, the kids give a shit. They don't want to fail. But, I mean, it's easy to take advantage of the kids. And the kids don't have a dream team, but they have private equity. The private equity guys should be steering them.
Well, here's the funniest thing, right? They somehow passed their due diligence.
Yeah.
So they still went through with the deal.
I mean, the PE guys aren't as smart. They're not the geniuses either.
Right. Okay.
Remember, a third of them fail.
Yeah,
a third break even, and a third make money.
Right. So that was the only thing that I thought was interesting is they still managed to pass the due diligence, and the deal went through. But the fact that they're giving it a lump sum, okay, I mean, all the leverage is on the side of the seller.
Correct.
100%. So I thought as a QLA mentee, unmotivated seller, next. So that I think we agreed.
For those of you who've been through the program, you've gone months, years without a deal, and then this deal comes up. And you're hungry to get a deal done. And so, I mean, some of the kids would do this deal. I wouldn't, but I mean...
Or they're going to get the equity.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Or we're going to get the equity.
Well, I mean, I would push back. See, I would do this deal, but I would change the deal. I mean, I would never, ever give the guy a lump sum. I mean, I don't think I've ever done that. Maybe I've done it once or twice. But I would push back.
Yeah.
The squeaky wheel gets the grease, and you push back hard. And if they slam the door in your face, fine, you got off lucky. I would rather have a quick no than a slow no. A quick no than a slow no. And but to me, a quick is quicker than you quick. I mean, I look at the numbers next.
That's what we don't have.
Yeah.
Right. So.
But when you've done a few deals, you'll laugh at how much time it took you to decide on your first deal. You will poke fun at yourself. Well, the old man was right. I thought he was a psycho. Fuck, but he was right. I was a fucking idiot. Why did I do that? But that's, hindsight looking back. Yeah, this is
So,
a QLA deal, but there's deals like this, and that's why. On the one hand, if people are giving up lump sums, that sounds like it makes it harder for us because somebody is writing checks. They are writing checks. But on the flip side of that is that for every deal that's done like this, there's 3 motivated sellers that weren't contacted, or 3 or more, because these guys, you can buy companies like this all day long, and that's why in the 80s and in the 2000 when they had the tech bubble burst, I mean, there was more money chasing bad deals. Okay. We're not there yet, but we've got a lot of money, silly money as it's called, chasing more deals. But what they're not doing is the PE guys aren't interested in the 1 to 5 million, the 1 to 7 million. They're interested after you've already built up momentum. And we may take, remind me to talk about partial exit when we get back. After lunch, a partial exit, which I haven't talked about.
May I ask a question? Yeah. So let's just say this business is taking off, right? It's a good business. Okay, let's say it justifies the 10.4 purchase price. If it's a booming business, it's going forward. Why, as a owner of the business, would I want to sell this business? Is this an unrealistic case? This is unrealistic cases.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah.
And it just may be that the Stanford guys went to a Stanford. He's probably a Stanford grad on top of it, and it was just a deal over a lunch. Because it's easy for the kids from those schools to get money. I mean, most of the Ivy League, but I mean MIT, the Ivy League schools, Stanford, those schools are just pots of money.
From the alumni?
From the alumni? Well, I mean, Stanford doesn't have one of the biggest endowments. I mean, Harvard's got the biggest endowment, I think, of the schools in the United States. I mean, the world, not just the United States. Meaning the monies that have been gifted. From not just alumni, but mostly alumni. But you'll find no problem. And remember, private equity is your least wanted money. You can always go to private equity. I mean, at the end of the day, if you've got a good deal, you can always go to private equity. I mean, you're going to die. You want to do a deal before you die. Okay, go to private equity. And private equity takes not quite as long as commercial banks, but not like a seller finance where it's done in a few hours or a few days. Private equity, there's a bunch of hoops that you got to go through. Okay, and they have partnership reviews at 3 or 4 different levels of a purchase, and they can pull the plug right at the last minute. What they normally like to do is they like to pull. Let's say that they've done 2 deals since you started this deal, and they owe these other guys. Well, they're going to pull. We're going to replace Bank of America with J.P. Morgan, or we're going to do this, we're going to do that, because they owe you and they want to pay you back because you helped them out in the deal. Which is supposedly against the rules. You're not supposed to be able to do that anymore. They used to call it stacking deals. So we're all at different investment banks, and we've all got, let's say, $1 billion worth of deals to get out in a year. Okay. So I'm having trouble with my deal, so I go to the 2 guys that I went to Stanford with, and hey, can you help me out? And so you each take a chunk of it, okay? So then they're in trouble on a deal. So then they go, and so only 7 or 8 guys, or represent 7 or 8 guys who represent 7 or 8 big firms, are getting a lion's share of the deals. And but you're beholden, not in any written agreement. It's just I don't know if it's a moral agreement, but they've tried to do away with that in the last 15 or 20 years.
They're taking money from these people, these different investment banks.
No, they're not. No. I'm doing your deal because you did my deal.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay.
Behind the deal.
Yes,
right.
Correct. So, and there's still a lot of that. I mean,
the money's just going.
I can't believe that KKR deal, the guys that came out of Bear Stearns, they're always oversubscribed. I mean, in a lot of the big funds, a lot of the KKRs, the Blackstones, etc., Sequoias, I made you guys rich 15 years ago. You're multi-billionaires now. It's payback time. Not anything illegal, just I need a little support, guys. Happens all the time. I'm sure University of Pennsylvania is at the head of that. It's payback time because they've been around the longest. Since 1643, if I remember correctly. And it's payback time. And so, and you made $20 billion and he helped you make your first $500 million, you're more likely to help him out.
So just fast deal, no due diligence.
Well, they don't. They're not. Of course, they're doing due diligence. You're always doing due diligence. But you're right. You're right.
The good old boys.
Yeah, and the Good Old Boy Network is alive and well on Manhattan. Believe me, the Good Old Boy Network is alive and well in Montreal. The Good Old Boy Network is alive and well in Toronto, Vancouver. Okay, they're alive and well down in Texas. They used to say if an oil deal got out of a Texas oil deal got out of Texas, it wasn't worth a shit. And if it got all the way up to fucking the Yankees in New York, it was dog shit. It was diarrhea. And if an oil deal gets from Texas to Oklahoma, something's wrong with it. Something's wrong with it. So, I mean, when they have to go, when I used to laugh, when they used to have dog and pony shows, when they're selling their, if you have to go around the world to sell your deal, something's not right. And I gave dog and pony shows in Tokyo. I mean, believe me, I gave a lot of, and so, but I mean, normally good deals are swallowed up. But you're right, this is not our kind of deal.
Next.
We would pass, and we'll let the Stanford boys put their money in that.
But people would make crazy investments like this.
Oh, shit.
So now we know.
This isn't even a crazy
So
one.
here's what we learned: Hunter needs to go to these Stanford kids.
Yeah. Well,
Sell his business.
and but he's in a little town, it's not quite that you drive by town and you miss it and blink your eyes, but it's kind of that. You drive by and you blink your eyes.